let's talk about the neighborhood a little bit. So, this little neighborhood that was just down from Twickenham that you lived in, it was. Am I right that it was one of a few black neighborhoods that were sort of patched together? Or?
Yeah, the interesting thing about, I think this is probably why desegregation, if you will, or integration occurred so easily, because there was no separate black neighborhood per se, like in Chicago or New York or any major city, or Washington D.C. or even D.C. was unique because you would have one black street, one white street per se, or a street full of primarily black people, or just the way things were set up after slavery. But there, you had little patches of black neighborhoods that were always surrounded or just across the way from the more from both the middle class white neighborhoods and the more upper class white neighborhoods. So there was not a strong or a divisive separation. You know, literally you could walk across the street and, you know, be in a quote white neighborhood, unquote. And so, but given that, there were little blocks that were, you know, completely black, you know, say maybe 4 square blocks, or, you know, anywhere from 2 to 4 or 5 square blocks in the immediate downtown area. I mean, at one point, apparently, according to my dad, you know, back when he was a little boy in the 40s, our home, and even when we were born in 52, was considered the outskirts of town, with William Street being the city limits. And so, because everything there was just mostly, well, they were, it was pretty rural. People, we had chickens and rabbits, and there was one story where someone's cow got loose from Franklin Street and came over and started eating my mother's garden and my dad wanted to shoot the cow because he had a short temper when it comes to things like that. But yes, so the classical, if you will, streets that were primarily exclusively black were streets like Adams up until Lowell, and Franklin from the area, Kelly Street, which actually ran parallel to Townsend, so Townsend, and then Green, and some parts of Madison, so and Lowell and the Governor's Drive were like markers on the east and west part of town, and then California and well, that's north and south, and then California and maybe maybe Madison, and that in more immediate area. And there were other areas, you know, like the projects and things that were just off of the Parkway or off of 72 that created other little predominantly black neighborhoods. But we didn't spend any time at all in those neighborhoods. You know, ours was growing up, particularly in the first 12, 15 years, was pretty much right around that quarter of Adams, Franklin, Madison, and then eventually we would walk over to Councill.